Good evening again. Today's session is a live demo of how it is we can complete an OPR registration. The only thing would be real here is the company's name, because there are terms of agreements we would need to accept. All the other information I'm being uploaded would be fake information that will be removed after the completion of this, and the correct thing would be inserted afterwards. This means to keep the client's information confidential. Yeah, so as we are going along with this, I would have set out some Word files, some things I want to share. But before I get into that, I just want to give you a general idea of how OPR works, and you could recognize it's not that hard to understand. So the OPR depository, it's where suppliers would be, think of it like a directory for state entities. You would create a profile, upload all the relevant documents that are necessary for tendering, so that state entities would be able to review it. Even before the tender come out, they could actually flag you for something and directly invite you to tender. So being OPR registered is a good thing. It will open you up to more business. It gives you direct notifications when there are tenders within your line of business. So this session would be tailored for land surveyors. So you'd say I'd give you some of the direct codes and stuff, really making it easy for land surveyors to complete this process. Yeah. So let's get into it. Let me now share my screen. Okay, so what I have here is just looking like numbers and dates. So let me zoom in closer so we get that. These are the files that are necessary. Not all of them are absolutely necessary, like mandatory, but these are the general files you'd want to have uploaded to your OPR registration. I did it like this so that before you start the process, it could be very helpful if it is you could put these things aside. It will really help you in speed and less stress. So I will be sending this Excel sheet for you so you can get a better idea what these things are, and how it is you could, when you're doing it yourself. There are some mandatory pieces. If you do not have these pieces here, do not even attempt the process. There are some pieces that you could actually do the entire OPR registration. You could do the entire OPR registration without them. These three, your article, your notice of directors, if it is you do not have these documents, if you do not have these things, I do not think you should try to even attempt. You would be wasting your time. The highlighted information is the absolute necessary pieces. You need to have this. If you don't have it, just give up right now. Try to acquire these things before you even attempt to do the OPR. Everything else is ideal information, more than likely what it is they would do to evaluate your account. At the end of the day, you are selling yourself amongst your peers if you want to be considered for a job. And I see this person has their active license available, so I don't have to call them and ask them for it. It's very likely I would gravitate and selecting the person. So this too is part of your digital footprint. I know we spoke about that a lot in past events last year. Yeah. So now that we have a list of all of these things, let's get into the OPR. So this is the link for OPR, oprtt.org. We would click to portals, procurement directory. We are going to assume that we have nothing here, so we're going to create an account from the very start. So we go to here and we just fill out this information. Again, only these first 5 fields I would have would be real. Everything else would be fictitious. So bear with me as I plug it in. It's not long, and I do have intention to doing the entire process. So as I'm doing this here, I am using my name. I have a domain name that I would just normally use when I'm doing it for clients. And I could just update it to their email address afterwards. But this is just to begin the process. Okay, so we're going to save this, right? And we're going to log in. Strangely, they don't even ask you for a confirmation, which I find is always very strange, for a confirmation email. So it takes you directly to this page, but if for some reason you're not on this page, you could always go back to oprtt.org. And you could just click login to depository right here, and you would find everything right here. So now we are logging in. What's my first pet's name? It was Lady, which was a strange name. Now they are going to ask me to verify their policies. So but I need to click them. It would open up for me to read it and then accept that I acknowledge it. Acknowledge that I have read and understood. Okay, then close these things. So now we are considered that we are OPR registered technically. Whether your lines of business would be approved, that is a different question. So technically you've just registered your business and your company to the OPR. We need to know this information. What you're seeing here is what the state entities would see and what it is they could check, what it is they would use to evaluate your account, to know what it is you have outstanding and such like this. So we need to populate that from this documents tab here. So it could be a little tiring. So remember the same Excel? What it is I would have done as well is in a separate folder created corresponding files. So articles of incorporation, this and this, all the files that I have already. And I need to take all of them and just drag them. This is when it is we're trying to move efficiently. This is what you would do. Doing it one by one, and you would understand why it is I had the numbers next to it as I go ahead. Why am I copying this? I have to drag it. Drag it across here. And we click start upload. So now this is the fastest way to get this thing done. See, once we have all these files here, this is one of the most tedious parts of this OPR registration, right? So we have just uploaded all the files. Uploading the files means, that does not mean they will be automatically assigned in the correct place here. So we now need to manually assign them. So we're going back to documents and we're going to assign documents, right? So it has nothing assigned so far. That doesn't mean we didn't upload it. So we just need to assign them one by one. So here's what we will do. We'll go to articles of incorporation first. Save changes. You remember that Excel sheet with all those strange numbers? This is where that comes in handy. Those strange numbers I had to decide was effective and expiry dates. So now we have to select articles of incorporation here, and the effective date for this one is the 11th of October. 2024. Click select and save. And we need to do that for each of these documents. So as you could see, it could get a little tiring. Certificate of incorporation. The certificate of incorporation is the certificate of continuance. That is what it used to be, I think, prior to 2005. I see they're still using the old name. Effective date is the same, 11th of October. The good thing is that once you type it in one, it's there for all. I will not do the two competencies. The competencies is part of when you're updating. I will just do one. So we would go, the competencies would be, where are you? Where are you? Qualification. Not seeing it for now. Pay it on the CV for the hour. Right? There's the competence for, assuming you have an MSc, a master's in whatever. So the master's date is the 30th of June. Though I want to just fast forward, this is important that I finish it so that when I go to some of the more mandatory pieces, we could get a good gauge. So this is the part of the video, if it is you want to step away and get some water, because this part it is a little timely, and this is the longest part in this whole process of registering to OPR. Your compliance certificates, you see them listed very strangely, and there's asterisks next to them. So there's the tax certificate. So let's do the tax one now. As you recognize, I have my files labeled properly, so it's easy for me to identify them. Certificate of incorporation. This is NIB compliance certificate. Where's the others? And you recognize that all of them has been uploaded, even though I selected them all. Well, that's fine. Let's do NIB for now. So you could see, even though I would have copied across all, some of them still didn't do. I would still need to go back and copy the difference. Certificate. This is the NIB National Insurance Board Clearance Certificate. This one actually does have an expiry date. The NIB certificate expires every 3 months, making it a little challenging to always keep having to maintain that. Problem was me, and I'm here blaming these people. Anybody have any questions so far, and anything need clearing up while it is we're going? This would be the best time actually to ask any questions, because this is just it feels like like you're writing lines when you're in school. You're being punished. This part of the process feels like that. And the VAT and taxes, it would be for 6 months, so the 4th of July. This is the VAT clearance certificate. So the VAT clearance certificate, in the absence, if you are not VAT registered, you know that they will give you a letter, pretty much saying that you're exempted from it to some extent. Same with the NI, same with National Insurance Board. If you don't operate with employees, registered employees, they will give you a letter saying that to their best of knowledge, you are not expected to pay NIB. Yeah. So let me just do the important ones. I'll do one of the IDs and one of the license, so I wouldn't have to go through all of these things. I'll do all of the important, just the urgent one. So that means I'll just have 3 more to do. And the strange thing about this, even though we assign it, you would think that they would assign them to the appropriate categories one time, right? We'd like to think that. You still need to do it manually. Let's do one of the IDs, one of the director DP. Driver's permit and the license, your TTLS license, which is, where are you? License or permit. This is, you would have gotten that for the first of the year, and it's expected to last until the end of the year. Okay, so everything else, we understand the concept. We get the idea. Yeah? We get the idea. So we're coming back out here now. We're going back to dashboard. And this is where we now need to populate. So we would have just done the most tiring parts of this process. We have to go to details and now populate each of these things. Down here is a part, this is where they would check everything at a glance. This is where everything is at a glance, and here's where if they see things are missing, they will start to reject your lines of business. So this is where you need to now assign stuff. Based on what it is we uploaded, as you could recognize, these are the general questions I was asked when I was doing the registration. Your board resolution, we don't have any board resolution. We don't have company bylaws. These are not mandatory things. We don't have constitutional documents. Their continuance certificate, this is our articles of certificate of continuance. This is our certificate that the business is registered. The income tax certificate, this is actually the compliance certificate they are speaking about. So that is the tax clearance certificate. Articles of incorporation, we uploaded that. The NIB certificate. So at a glance, when they are looking here and they're seeing these things missing, whatever line of business you apply for, they're going to start rejecting it. You do not want that. You really do not want that. And board of directors. Yeah? VAT clearance certificate. If you're not VAT registered, you won't have these things. Right? So for a small-ish, medium-sized company, these are more the things that would be necessary. So we click save. Upon clicking save here, we could actually we have to do one more piece first. We're actually almost finished as a bare minimal space, as doing it under bare minimum, whereby your line of business should be accepted. We have to go line of business. To the bottom here, I will send this to you as well. Land surveying appears in two places on this line of business. All right. Let's zoom in a bit. Two places. What this line of business means is whatever service or product you have to sell, you have to look for it here. And you could recognize they have royal categories, and each of them have subcategories, and before long it appears impossible. But have a quick fix, have a quick thing. There's codes from number 1. All the codes start with, as you see in it, it's in order 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Up to 6,004 is products. If it is you are selling a product, you have to look in these areas for the product that you are selling to get line of business approved. So if you're selling drugs or pharmaceuticals, a particular drug in particular, and you want it, you have to go through it. I think that is very challenging for business selling products. We are concerned about services. So from 7,000 down is where services are. Land surveying strangely appears in two places, and one of them was very hard to locate. So for land surveying, we'd have to look into engineering, and you could see the codes are described there. So as I'm showing you here, 8.1. Let me pull up the Excel. This is the way land surveying. So it actually goes in order. So just follow the numbers and you would find it. So it's 8, 1, then look for 1 again, 5, 1, 6. So the code kind of tells you where it is. So let's follow the code. So it's 8, 1. We now go to Earth Sciences because it was 1, 5 after. Then we go into cartography, if I could recall. Voila, land surveying is here. So now let's add land surveying as a line of business. We just highlight it and let's train some photogrammetry as well. So mapping and map production, why not? We do all these things. And now they're asking us to what category we could accept a tender. I don't think you should try for anything like this. You should always try for level 2 upwards. All right. Tender notification or enable. That way you'll get emails. Started line of business. I put in it from the day the business was incorporated. I can't remember what day it was. Let's say that's the 10th of August. Let's say the day you got your license. You got your license since 2015. The 2nd of June. This is a test just to see how long you have been doing what you're doing. Yeah? So all of these line of business are added here. There's one more place land surveying is added and it's very, very important. Don't miss it out. So let's go back. So we have to go back to the dashboard. Line of business. Oh, I could have just clicked create. Just click create. And you would recognize of all the codes. This E1 here, very random, very different. This didn't exist in the past. They created this new and land surveying appears a second time here. I suspect this is for persons who needs to represent clients in legal matters. So land surveying would appear under land and building structures mapping. Remember to select this one as well when you are tendering, because some clients I've seen where some persons just send out tenders to this one alone and not the other. So make sure you have it there for the board. August 2015. Okay, so technically we are 75 or 90% finished. We are good where we're almost ready to publish. So far we have all the required information entered. We have the line of business selected. All these other things is just more information regarding directors. Again, this is how you populate your page. I don't think you should ignore it. The supplier information, they're asking your first name, select your country, and then the same ID. They're asking for dates and stuff. Let me just do one. Let me not skip it. My whole government name here now. I don't think are going to expire anytime soon. So after you create the record, it's just so strange it didn't ask you to upload the ID, then you have to upload the ID after. So we just uploaded the diverse permit. I can't remember mine. I'm not sure what's my ID. The issuing country, Trinidad. DP driver's permit, which we uploaded. Good. Director information saved. You should enter that here. We're now going to geographic locations, which just give us like a ballpark what area we operate within. We operate in the San Fernando Corporation. Everything else you're running through really fast here now. The notice of address, where's your business name located? In San Fernando. High Street. Just type primary. So you recognize how fast we're going. The principal shareholders. This is where we would have had to upload a form. The beneficial interest. We didn't upload it in the interest of time and how timely this is. But this is another form. So that is part of your legal requirement now when you're registering a business at Ministry of Legal Affairs. The banks will trouble you without it. Yeah. So you're working on that piece there. So you would upload that. Again, all of these parts are luxury pieces. the authorized person. So if our attorney is acting on your behalf, you upload any letters there. We would have dealt with documents, additional information as is. Users, this is an important piece. I would need to add the actual user afterwards. I find it just so stupid. Silly rather, that I'm adding a new person and I need to manually enter these persons' security questions and manually enter their password. So what is the point? What security feat? What's the element? Yeah. So I would have to enter this for my new client. I would have to ask them this information and they would have to provide that me so that another person could now access the account, and not just access the account, but when they are sending notifications would be sent to that individual as well. So sometimes it's good that you register your business email address here first when you're now starting up, and as a separate user you enter yourself again but with a personal email address. So that way, when they're sending notifications, sometimes if you're one not to check your professional email address very, very frequently, but your personal, you could add the both. I mean, that's all this to say you could add multiple emails. Yeah? So you could actually have 2 accounts for yourself. Okay, so we're going to leave all these pieces alone. Insurance, you would have to take out professional indemnity, if I could recall. So if we look to click create, they're asking you for details about that. Professional indemnity. We did not upload that file. That was one of them in the listing to upload as well. It's not a mandatory one. And lastly, licenses. We did upload that one. So license number is 985, 986, Trinidad. License type. Strangely, they were looking out for civilian. There is a type for civilian here, which was good. So we post up our license in the correct place. So now that we have everything, if you want to mention things like ISTT's membership, you could put that in industry standards. Technical competence is where you're going to put your bachelor's degree. So you upload your resume or your degree here. And you list maybe, what if you are not the, so for instance, you have a land surveying firm, right? Everything speaks to land surveying, but you're offering valuation services. You could put the person who is responsible for the valuation components in this part, yeah? Or what am I? As a manager, let's not get too fancy. Yeah. Okay, so we are finished with this part. Now, this is the part here that is confused a lot of people, and there's get plenty calls about this part. So pay attention. Now we need to pay a lot of attention for this. So after you enter everything, now you need to publish your information so that all state entities would see it, and then you need to pre-qualify. I said it in that order because it needs to be in that order. It cannot be anywhere else. If you click to pre-qualify first, and then you publish, your pre-qualification record will not show. They will not see you. They will not be able to hire you. Will not get any notifications. So it must be published first. They are now saying there are no pending pre-qualification records for conversion. Proceed to publish. This is good. Publish. When I click view, this snapshot here is what they will be seeing. The state entity would be seeing this, right? So now we go back, and after we do this, now we pre-qualify. So let them see the account, and then, only then, we do the pre-qualification. We now pre-qualify for land. So you have to do it for each of them that you select. So years of experience, I have 10 years of experience. I've never gotten any contracts, largest contract, nothing. I am not an authorized agent. Sometimes when you see these terms of agreements boxes, just click yes. This is not the time to do that. The very first question is very, very misleading. Here's what it says. We, the company, is insolvent. We are in receivership, bankrupt. You don't want to click this if that is not true. So this one, you're not agreeing to this declaration. You try to agree to the rest. I have not or never rendered ineligible or delisted to provide contracts to bodies. If you are, you don't put it if it applies to you. Yeah? And we click save. So we are finally pending. Technically, at this moment, we are completely finished. Right now, at this very moment, if anybody from OPR is on, any procurement officer is on, they will be able to see this application that I just created and be able to approve this application that I just have here. Yeah. So we would then do that for every single one. So we would go back to pre-qualify again, and we would do that for each of. In fact, there's a faster way. Just click pre-qualifications. No, there is not the faster way. The faster way is if you would have done it before and then you got new information. So for instance, let me do one more. Let me demonstrate how this thing works. Let me demonstrate this properly. So we try this again. I'll show you a pain point. I'm demonstrating a pain point here. Oh, what is going on here now? Good. Years of experience 10, 0, 0. No. Accept. Okay. So right now we are pending, right? What if it is 6 months has passed, all of our compliance certificates expired? We'd have to go back to documents, delete the old ones, put up the new ones, and then assign them again, just like what we would have done here. So every bit of information you get new, you have to reassign and go back through this entire process. So everything you update, you don't just upload the document and you're done. You have to go and assign it to the proper category. So we did that. So we changed our NIB compliance certificate. So now, even though it's changed, you see what you published? That is a snapshot for all state entities. No matter if you update something, they will not see the new update until you publish it again. So let's publish again. So now they are showing me the first time I published, if the date was different at the time, and now this is the second time I published, right? They would show me snapshots of each time I publish. But look what happens after I publish. Let's go to pre-qualifications. I just had 2 things pending. By me publishing anything I had pending, they remove it. And I have to now resubmit it again. I now need to resubmit it, or else nobody will see it, or else the state enterprises will not see it. I will stop getting notifications and stuff. So I have to click resubmit, answer all these questions again. Well, they answered them for me already. Just click resubmit. Yeah, and I need to do that for each line of business. Resubmit. And then the question is asked after this point. So, am I approved? The answer is no. This is all you can do. This is all you can do for OPR. So we are finished right now. This is all you can do for OPR. The next step is for the state entity or the whichever procurement officer to approve your line of business, where your line of business will move from pending to now accepted. And what the accepted would mean is that the procurement officers, when they are looking for a service, they would be able to see everyone who's already accepted. Once you're accepted, it means that you have proven to have met the requirements for stuff. So there's less critiquing, I should say, of your account and all of these things. But it does not mean because you are in the pending area, they cannot see you. Once you are pending, when they are looking for stuff, your thing will still be there as well. I just think it's a means of more clout that your stuff is accepted. But all in all, at this point, where you reach this pending stage, once you have all your documents in the correct order, uploaded in the appropriate place, you are good. You literally, at this point, just need to wait. Wait for something. Even in the pending state, you may actually get notifications from jobs being offered, because there are times that if the pool is small, they are not getting the service required. They are not getting the skill set available. They will look for persons who are pending and try to approve them. Yeah? So this is where we are. This is the entire process to be in OPR registered. After we finish here, we just sit back and we wait. So with that, I want to conclude. I wanted to thank everyone as well who participated in the group that was being created. The idea of the group, so I'll just stray a little bit. The idea of the group is to invite persons to have small little sessions like these, whereby every 2 to 3 weeks, we can do a free session whereby there's some element of learning to developing your professional life. So where we dwelt at OPR today, we could maybe deal with filing taxes in about 2 or 3 weeks or so. And the group would also encourage persons to, we'd have some simple little polls. I'll try to keep it low noise as promised. little polls to choose so individuals could give an idea of what type of training is required in the community. The next event we are looking to I just want to share with you very briefly, is to developing your business on Google. Last year we would have spoken a lot about building your brand, but there was one key part that we never mentioned. You could actually create somewhat of a shop or profile on Google itself. So we would have spoken a lot on how it is your digital footprint could impact you when persons could see you. But the main part of it was never truly discussed. So on January 28th, for an hour and a half, we want to have a session. This would be a paid session, very minimal costs, I believe, as well. That needs to be fleshed out a bit. But I'm just throwing it out here. If anybody is interested, more information will be posted on the chat. And again, I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the chat. Thank everyone for coming out today. And I hope today's session add value. Was I clear? Is there anything that anybody needs assistance with? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Anything in the group? Any chat? Okay, is there a search function? No, there is not a search function. Not seeing anything for sole traders. Okay, so there is not a search function. Just answer any two questions from the chat. There is no search function in the line, assuming is where you're looking for the line of business, and that is what makes it very, very tedious. This is why I looked for it for you guys. It doesn't exist any other place. If you're offering a different services, I can direct you to where valuation. It does appear twice for valuers as well, and twice for quantity surveyors as well. I could direct you for those persons. And regarding sole trader, the process is almost exactly the same for a sole trader. Everything that we went through here is the exact same thing for a sole trader. I just chose limited liability, but the options doesn't change. Yeah, the options doesn't change. Most main changes, they're asking you when it is you have to upload notices of directors and stuff. You just have to put your sole trader certificate. Same business, multiple locations. How is that addressed? The same business, multiple locations. Let me share with you. Let me show you how to get that one done. Nice question. Under addresses, they give you options to add multiple addresses. Same business, multiple addresses. It's there, so you could add multiple locations, as well as you could also add multiple geographic locations where you operate from. But again, I don't think you should stress too much about these things. Trinidad and Tobago, everybody works everywhere, and I think your clients wouldn't have an idea of that, especially for surveying. It is a little tedious going back and forth. Will the process of documentation be shared? Yes, this video is actually being recorded right now, so my feed is being recorded, and I will upload it to YouTube and share the link with you all, so you could go back and check through this. What are the pieces? I am going to send you the Excel sheet at the same time that has what are the things you should have. One of them that's highlighted as well is the management accounts, but this is a new one. I didn't speak about it. In fact, let me show you. No questions. Let's deal with everything today. To identify what are the mandatory pieces, we have to go to assign documents and assign a document, and they actually tell you all of them that has an asterisk next to it. But you see these three with asterisks next to them, all of them have the same number. It's an either or. If you have all three, well, happy for you. Audited financial statements, small organizations not going to have this. Banker's letter. I do not know what they mean by this. I suspect it's maybe a letter that's saying that you have a bank account or your management accounts. But they have asterisks next to these things as if they are mandatory. So I have never, to this date, I have not uploaded any of these three things, and I have gotten approvals for a couple businesses already. So though they have stars by it, I don't think they disqualify you in the absence of it, but it's good to have. They do have stars by it. Avoid any questions. So if it is, we have the banker's letter. Where you would add the banker's letter is in financials. Create your row. Financial statements or your banker's letter here, right? So this is where you will put that. So that is all the piece. So the piece that I didn't have highlighted, but I will highlight it when I'm sending off the Excel sheet to you, is that piece as well. They say it's mandatory, but let's follow the rules. It's mandatory. Try to see if it is. If it is, you can't get the management accounts or the audited accounts, a banker's letter suggesting your financial position or having a bank account. I do not know what that means. Let me see any more questions. I'm not seeing any more questions. You guys could actually unmute and and chat. It's a little easier than me going into the chat. If there's any concerns, any pain points, who's ever tried the process already, they reach halfway and they just stuck somewhere. If I was able to capture or help, so I think I just give you a general idea. The pain points is usually where the publishing and the pre-qualification area is. People don't usually have an issue with the correct documents to upload. A lot of persons are having challenges getting these compliance documents. I could assist with that, definitely. So you could always reach out if it is you're having challenges acquiring these documents. And yeah, that's it. Well, okay. It was nice having you all. I hope I am thorough and you guys are not just shy. But you've been a good audience. I want to thank you again for coming out. And good luck as you try to do these things. I really hope you get through. Again, if you're having challenges or you're thinking that here's what this is a bit much, you could always reach out. I'm always here to support. So thank you all again. Hope you all enjoy the rest of the evening.